Of all the people I've listened to, I think one of my favorites is a guy named Zig Ziglar. Now, if you're young, you may not have heard of Zig Ziglar, but at one time, Zig Ziglar was one of our most important communicators. He was just fantastic. He was a sales leader, he was a salesperson, a sales leader, and then he did a series of videotapes and audio tapes, and he came around and he taught thousands and thousands of people how to sell better. And it was just remarkable. He is a southern man from Mississippi, and he had a thick accent, but I just loved listening to him. And so it's not surprising that now when I'm teaching speaking, I go back and I look at some of the Zig Ziglar things and I use those as an example. Now, one of the things I was trying to do, because I had a client and I wanted to show her what Zig Ziglar does, and I was looking for that exact moment and I just couldn't find it. And I'm good at research, man. If something's on the internet, chances are good I'm going to find it. But I looked and I looked and I looked and I could not find this Zig Ziglar moment. But what I did find was I found a transcript of a Zig Ziglar 2-hour sales training seminar. Now, can you imagine, written out 2 hours of him talking, and I had it all there in front of me. And what I noticed is this: he would make a point, and then he would tell a story, and then another story, and then another story, and then he would make a point, and then tell a story and a story. And if you took the entire 2 hours stuff, he probably had 5 or 10 or 15 points in there, and then the rest of it was just chock full of stories. Here's what I want you to understand. We do not learn from bullet points. We do not learn. You can't turn a fire hose on and just flood us with a lot of information and we absorb it. It just doesn't work that way. I see that all the time. And I used to do that. My boss used to come in when I was a new leader, when I was a young man, and he would give me, here's what I want you to communicate to your team, and it would be pages and pages and pages of stuff. And I would go in and I would just fire hose it at them. Blah. Did they learn it? I don't know. Did they hear it? I don't know. Did they act on it? They have no way of knowing it because I just gave it to them flat out. I guarantee you, I do seminars all over the country, and I guarantee you, some bullet point that I put up halfway through my seminar, you could walk out in the hallway and grab somebody and say, guess, if you can tell me what bullet point Daniel had up on his slide, I'll give you $1,000. And nobody could remember that. But I'll tell you what, if I tell a story, chances are some people will remember that story for years. I remember the Zig Ziglar stuff, and I was listening to that when I was 17 years old. So the stories are the way we understand our world since the beginning of time, since the time when we sat around a campfire at night and the hunters would come back and tell a story about hunting. We understood our world through stories. There is nothing more powerful than being able to tell a good story.